Hello, citizens of Los Santos. I am the new Chief of Police for Los Santos Police Department. I'm doing this meeting to address some concerns that I know some civilians have been having, along with the way the PD will be handling themselves. But I just want to discuss our protocols and whatnot we're going to be doing in the future to ensure that every civilian is safe from this point forward. Going to start off by saying that the ex-chief Smith has stepped down. He is still in our ranks. He is still wearing our uniform, but he is no longer in the position of chief. I have been appointed chief, and we have a new appointed chief, assistant chief, Henry Donovan. He's going to be working alongside me to ensure that our future of Los Santos Police Department is a better one. Our first order of business, as soon as we got put in the position, is to start weeding out the officers who are causing issues, who are putting our civilians' lives in danger, the ones who are making the Los Santos Police Department have a bad name. There has been terminations already under my authority, and there will be more if our officers can't get a grip on how to control and behave themselves. Because from this point forward, we are going to be professional. We are going to be a friend of the community, and we are going to make our civilians feel safe again. I have been working close with the sheriff of Blaine County, Chloe Decker. She has been really welcoming and helping me adjust to the new title that I have. And we're going to work well together to ensure that both departments are on the same page, following the same policies, procedures, and handling ourselves in a professional manner. We have some new protocols that we're taking. The main one right now, as of recent, is to deal with the gang violence that is happening in the Southside of our city. What's going on down there is very dangerous. It is not ideal for any community. There's gunfights, there's beatings, there's fights, all kinds of stuff happening in the Southside. Drugs, everything being pushed, and we're still going to do our duties in the Southside, but we will not put anybody's lives in danger who does not need to be in danger. That's us for now. We aren't getting involved in the shootouts. I'm not going to put our officers in harm's way as of now. We will be, in fact, standing by on the scenes to ensure that any civilian who is harmed within the shooting is picked up and safe. We will also be making sure we're investigating situations fuller, a lot more in depth as well. But whether that be by us taking photos of the situations, trying to get any information we may need to help stop these shootings in the South. The Los Santos Police Department will no longer be acting as an aggressive force. We will be making our presence known, but we will not be handling our retaliation to the Southside violence with violence. We're going to start using the full court of law to punish these criminals in the Southside. And we're working with the Department of Justice very closely now, more than we have ever done, to ensure that these gangs are put away or stopped in the court of law and not with violence. Violence is the number one thing we're trying to avoid in situations under my authority. I also want to add that in recent chiefs, there have been some chiefs that have went hard on the Southside gang violence. There's been some that's been a friend of the Southside. I just want everybody to know that as chief of police, I don't consider anybody a criminal. I see the community as a whole as everybody's a civilian. It's just some civilians, lose their way, lose their train of thought, and they're going through some bad times, and they're just trying to do whatever it is they need to provide for their family, and I understand that. But we cannot be having this violence going on and putting other people at harm. So We have to put a stop to it. And like I said, we'll be using the Department of Justice, our law enforcement duties to do that. We're not going to be retaliating full force like we were previous. Yesterday, we had our first big trial that San Andreas law enforcement has been put through, and it was one of our bigger trials. The outcome was ruled in favor of the defense, which was San Andreas law enforcement. So there were no wrongdoings in our SOP there. There were some stuff that could be fixed and will be addressed. There was some lack of incident reports of that scene that was involved, and we're working on a system to make sure that doesn't happen again in the future. In future scenes, we will make sure that we are locking them down, making sure that everyone is aware of our surroundings. Um, we thought we did pretty well in that situation, but unfortunately, somebody still got hurt. Whether that be from either side, we don't know exactly what happened to Mr. Vasquez, but I will ensure that this won't happen again in the future. I can't really say if it was. I don't know what happened with Mr. Vasquez or how he was injured, but we're going to make sure that in the future, no civilians are hurt, whether that's with law enforcement or with any criminal shootout. I do want to discuss a little bit about the situations that occurred after the hearing. I was, active on Twitter. I was watching as your guys' response to the whole thing, and there was some unprofessionalism that was happening on Twitter by some of our uniformed officers. And I do apologize for that. We do not want to look unprofessional to the public. And going forward, I'm going to try to make sure that everyone's being more professional. We're all about professionalism. We want to be a friend of the community. Like I said, we want LSPD to be someone that any civilian can trust, who can approach, and see law enforcement as a protector or not as a monster. And that's my biggest thing. I don't want to seem like we're here to, I don't want people to fear us. I want the criminals to fear us because, make sure that they're not doing and conducting illegal activities in our streets anymore. And it's going to happen. It happens everywhere. But we're trying to, lessen that up. We're trying to get the shootouts to stop. We're trying to get that stuff to calm down. Which today's been a good day. We haven't had very many shootings. There's been a very few select shootings. We're hoping to continue that. So, in conclusion, in my first week or two of being chief, I have five. I have 5 key points that I want to get resolved and get pushed out right away. The number one thing is we're going to be letting go the officers who have a violent history of not following our standard operating procedures and breaking policies continuously, putting other officers in danger. The second thing being we are implementing a new way to report incidents. That way, so we have extreme knowledge of each situation that happens that is worthy of reporting. The third thing I'm working on is the department relation with the Department of Justice. We are introducing a lot of new things coming out, and it's going to be very well for and the Department of Justice in moving forward. That way, so the Los Santos Police Department, Blaine County Sheriff's Office, and the San Andreas Park Rangers are all protected in doing their duties and being professional in doing. The fourth thing, this hasn't been reported to the public knowledge yet, but San Andreas law enforcement as a whole has went through a complete restructure. We have cut ranks. We only have a select few ranks, which We have our, cadet phase 1, which is waiting for academy. We have our cadet phase 2, which are cadets who are being trained by an FTO. We have our solo cadets, which are cadets that are allowed to drive by themselves, and they are just, awaiting to get the training they need to become a full-time officer wearing our badge. After officer, we have our senior officer, we have our sergeants, which are our command, and then we have our high command, which is the assistant chief and myself. We did this to eliminate the attitude that cops may have of, shooting, being here just to get a rank. We want our officers to be more into ensuring safety and worrying about the civilians' safety. And that's the reason why we last but not least, we have been doing um, officer training, which consists of all ranks going into training, learning how to do tactical response, learning to keep the civilian safety at number one, which is what we all want as law enforcement officers. Civilian safety is going to be our priority from here on forward. Officer safety is very important as well, but we just want to make sure that in situations that an innocent civilian is not going to be harmed at all. And I hope that this kind of clears the air um, for the future of, law enforcement, it's LSPD, whatever you may want to call it. Um, we're kind of shifting our ways, and I want the civilians out there to know that I am here. I got your back, and it's no longer going to be, you know, I hate to say it, but like the whole fuck 12 mentality. I want that to go away because that is my biggest pet peeve is to hear somebody roll up to me and scream fuck 12. That's very disrespectful, and I'm hoping we can calm that down. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Chief.